Welcome to the GTP. My name is Scott, where we talk all things manga, and I know I'm a little late, but I'm excited to share with you my manga haul for the month of December of over 35 volumes. And this haul is just a little special as I was a part of a Secret Santa gift exchange with some other YouTube members who also love manga just as much as you. So what's really cool is I'm going to go ahead towards the end of the video. I'm going to broadcast and show with you what my Secret Santa brought me. I was just so blown away as these were 4 titles that I don't have in my collection, and I did feel bad for poor Secret Santa as she did have to go through quite the list of just what I currently owned and try not to get a duplicate. So with that said, I'd love to know in the comments below, what did you either pick up or did you read this past December? Maybe you got a secret gift under the tree of one of those manga you've been hoping to pick up, or maybe you got the gift of manga yourself and you went and you bought something. So I'd love to know below, how did you treat yourself this holiday season? Let's go ahead and first start with ongoing or missing titles that I received from Viz Media. And the first one I got was a missing title indeed, as I ordered this volume so long ago and the company just shipped it, and that is Dark Gathering Volume 2. Now I already have 1, 3, and 4, but I did not have this volume. Now this series is a new one from the Shonen Jump line. It has a bit of a horror feel to it, and by this mystery as you're following this girl who has 2 pupils in each eye, and she's able to go ahead and see specters and ghosts. And then you have this other boy that's with her who he can get the sense and feeling of the spirits, and it's kind of haunting. There's some really good paneling, but I was kind of like, I'm not fully sure. So because I have the second volume, I can continue the series and let you know more in a future video. Next is probably the best volume yet of this series, and that is volume 8 of Mission Yozakura Family Volume 8. Now this series gives you a bit of a Spy X Family feel if you're looking for kind of that comedy-ish, as well as an action adventure that's typical of very Shonen Jump stories. So this one I've thoroughly enjoyed. It's not the best Shonen Jump out there, but it's still pretty good. There's an anime now coming out, and if I was going to bet, either probably the end of volume 7 or part of volume 8 will probably be when it will be the finale, as it's just so strong right now, the current arc, and I'm so excited to find out how the series unravels and just the mystery that's unfolding right now. Highly recommend checking it out. Next, I picked up one of my favorite ongoing series, and that is Call the Night Volume 14. Now, I'm very sad that this discovery of self and love and vampires is coming to an end. I think the last volume, 17, came out in Japan either this January. But this has been such a thoroughly good series. I feel like it's a bit underrated, as I don't hear too many people talking about. It's one I highly recommend. Next, I picked up everyone's favorite Harry Potter meets One Punch Man meets Mob Psycho 100, and that is Mashle Volume 14 of Magic and Muscles. Now this series recently ended, I think, with 17 or 18 volumes in Japan. We have volume 14 here, so I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this year we'll have the complete series. I'm just, with the backlog, I'm waiting just till I get the whole thing so I can go ahead and continue on the series and then hopefully do a review to let you know what I think of the entire series. Now, next series I picked up, I actually was surprised, as thanks to Crunchyroll, when they ship you orders from the past from Right Stuf Anime, I'm not receiving any email notifications, so I have no idea what's coming when I get a shipment. So I was a bit surprised, but also excited, as I bought the whole series about a year ago, and I was just waiting for this last volume. And that is this 3-in-1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! This is volumes 22, 23, and 24. My son absolutely loves this series, and he had to stop reading because we were waiting for this omnibus. As soon as I got it, he read it right away. And I gotta say, for an omnibus, these feel really good in your hand. It doesn't feel cheap. So I would totally go the Viz route when it comes to these omnibuses. I don't mind these at all. They're just as good as the singles. Next, I picked one of my favorite series to come out in the last 2 years, as the last volume is about to come out, I believe, in another month or so. And that is Alice in Borderland. This is a 2-in-1 volume 8. And when you put all the lovely spines together, we get to see a picture of a city. This has been a phenomenal battle royale sense of discovery and mystery series. If you like Squid Games, you will like Alice in Borderland. And there's also a hit live action on Netflix for this, which was also really good. And I'm surprised, I've actually seen the entire live action, which covers the entire story, and then reading the manga, They're just different enough that I thoroughly enjoy both. This is so fun, such a good read. Next, I picked up what made my top 10 of new series that come out from last year, and that is the adorable Slice of Life Insomniacs After School Volume 4. This series, you follow this guy and this girl who both have trouble sleeping, and then through that they found this astronomy tower at the school where they're able to sleep quietly and find out, well, you can't just really sleep there, you better start making it a club again if you want to be able to enjoy the astronomy tower. So they're now in a bit of a relationship. Who's gonna like who am I? Who's gonna ask the first one out first? But this is just such a adorable high school antics slice of life series, and I've also enjoyed as they're now bringing in just the aspects of photography and just the enjoyment of astronomy can bring. And this goes through the festival arc. I'm always happy when they add a festival arc in a manga. This one does not disappoint. You've got to check out this series if you're a fan of slice of life. Now in this next volume I'm going to show you, I'm actually completely surprised. I was not expecting this to ship at all. And that company that brought me The Dark Gathering also shipped this as well. This is the Ultimate Limit Volume 10. I'm now only missing Volume 5. So once I have the whole series, I can go ahead and read this detective series. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I bought the whole series over a year ago and it was only Volume 5 and 10. And so I'm not even sure if Volume 10 was reprinted or not, but somehow they got a copy and they sent it my way, which I'm very, very grateful for. So hopefully that means they'll get Volume 5 and I can go ahead and read this series and tell you what I think. And last from Viz Media, I picked up everyone's favorite Horse of Destruction, and that is the post-apocalyptic adventure Fist of the North Star. This is Volume 11, and I gotta say, Viz Media has done such a phenomenal job with this edition. I love the artwork in the front. The back looks really good as well. Even how they made the blood splatter a little shiny, even though I'm not a very blood and guts type of person. But this series, if you're looking for an oldie but a goodie, this is one you're gonna want to check out. Now let's go ahead and move on to ongoing or missing titles that I received from Yen Press. And the first gives me a bit of a Studio GB vibes to it, as it's a little slower pace, a slice of life series, and that is Touring After the Apocalypse. If you like Girls Last Tour, you'll probably like Touring After the Apocalypse as well, but it is a bit of a slower series. This is more of a cozy series. If you're looking for something to read when you're tired, this is probably a great series for you. You've had a long day, but you still want to read something. I would go ahead and pick up Touring After the Apocalypse. Next, I picked up a volume of a very popular isekai series, and that is Re:Zero, The Starting Life in Another World. This is Chapter 4, The Arc of the Witch of Greed. I haven't read the whole series yet, but I'm very happy to always pick up another volume, as I do love isekai series. Next I picked up is the second volume of Primal Gods in Ancient Times. Now this series I was a bit surprised at being shrink wrapped, as the first one wasn't. Then I saw, oh no, parental advisory warning. Oh my. Well, it is parental advices. The first volume, which I thought was fine, and then after the second volume I'm like, definitely not for kids now, as it definitely had some more adult content that I wasn't expecting. But it's been a very interesting series so far, as you're following this girl as she's traveling with these two other companions, and they're in this old time in Japan as they're just traveling around and they're meeting and kind of trying to appease these different gods. So it's been a very interesting for 2 volumes so far. I'm thoroughly enjoying the series and I'm looking forward to going ahead and continuing on. And last from Yen Press, I picked up another brick of a series, and that is Yamushi Pedal Volume 24, which is a 2-in-1, which means that we now have 44 volumes of this sports series, which you're like, wow, 44 is a lot for a sports series on bicycle racing. Yes, it is, but there are over 80 volumes total in Japan. So I'm very impressed with Yen Press continuing willing to spend and being able to give us this series, and I can't imagine how much, I wonder how much longer the series is going to be in Japan and how long it'll go, and will Yen Press continue or will they discontinue? But so far I'm very grateful they've continued to push on this bicycle racing journey for you and I. Let's go ahead and now move on to ongoing or missing titles that I received from KODANSHA, with the first being That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Volume 23. I thoroughly enjoyed this volume. I just love this series. I did a review of it for each of you about the manga. I love the anime, and what's nice is this goes into what will soon be season 3 of the anime, whenever that's going to come out. So if you cannot wait for that, I would highly recommend getting this, as you get to dive deeper in the journey. There's just so much good political intrigue. Now there's this current enemy that there's whispers of that's going to be coming to the forefront. It's just such a fun series. If you're looking for just a fun isekai series you're just going to thoroughly enjoy, have some laugh out loud moments, you've got to check this one out. Next, I picked up a volume from one of my favorite series of all time, and that is Blood on the Tracks Volume 15. Wow, what can I say about this series other than this is just the horror, the manipulativeness of the mother, just the paneling itself is such a strong statement and very powerful series. I don't see enough people talking about it. Now, this series is definitely not for kids, but the content itself, the communication style was so strong. There's volumes that it just, as soon as I put it down, it just caused me to be deep in thought as you're seeing this unravel of this mom who does this absolute horrific thing, and you're now watching the son trying to handle the consequences. Does he protect his mom? Does he turn his mom in? How does he handle the situation? And then what's interesting with this volume, it actually gives you more of the mom's perspective, and you get to see why she became the way that she is. And I think that's so important, is oftentimes when we see someone who's bad or does terrible things, we don't look behind that pain and cause, I don't know if you ever heard before, but like hurt people. And meaning that usually someone who's very mean or hurting others, they're hurting inside themselves. And it's to be able to take a sneak peek and be able to turn back that curtain and ask, hey, why is that person so mean? What has happened to them that caused them to become the person that they are? And this volume gives us some of those answers about the mom. So I know it's about wrapping up the entire series, but I've thoroughly enjoyed reading Blood on the Track. Now I'm very excited for the next series I'm going to show you, as I had some of the volumes already from ordering for Bright Stuff Anime, but some of the other volumes I decided to order from the other company that didn't ship the volumes for a very long time, and they finally shipped those volumes, and that is of the Shangri-La Frontier. I've been thoroughly and been so excited to want to start this series, as I grew up playing Japanese role-playing games, RPGs, and then MMOs, which is the massive multiplayer online RPG. So because of that, I have volume 1 now. Volume 2, we got volume 3. Those are the ones I was missing, as well as volume 6. And while I was waiting for that, Right Stuff Anime sent me one of my very last pre-orders I had from them, volume 9. So now I have the series fully caught up, and I can go ahead and read the series and tell you more about what I think. And last from KODANSHA, I got the 19th volume of To Your Eternity. This is from the same author that gave us A Silent Voice. Now, this is a phenomenal series as well, especially the first 12 volumes. Then it moves on to a new arc, which I know people weren't as much of a fan, but wow, the first 12 volumes just left a statement inside me and just really deeply made me think, as you're following this main character, as when he interacts with different people, when that person passes, he can now, a part of that person is now inside of him. He can turn into that person, and you're seeing him go through life to discover what is humanity all about. And it's just been such a very interesting series that makes you think, you feel for the characters. I'm just so good. Let's go ahead and now move on to smaller publishers. And the first I got was the Apocrypha Diaries Volume 10 from Square Enix. I've been so excited to read this series. Now it has a hit anime that people have loved as well. I just need to go ahead and get on the bandwagon and start reading. Next, I picked up another series that was in my top 10 of new series that come out from last year. It's a bit wordy. You follow this detective, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed this josei series, and that is Don't Call It Mystery. This is Omnibus 5 and 6, and it was perfect because I actually got this series on Christmas Eve, which is just in time for Christmas, which I was so excited because, as you see, we're going through Christmas. And what was neat is as I was reading the series as part of before Christmas, and then I got into New Year's, and then we go into discussing about New Year's on here. I'm like, oh, the timing was perfect. I was just so happy to read this. If you've not checked out this series before, this is one I would recommend checking out if you're okay with a bit of a wordier series. Now, it is a little episodic in the sense as he's solving different crimes, but there is an overarching theme with it, an arc, and they do weave and tie together. So it is one I've thoroughly enjoyed. Very, very witty, very good dialogue. Recommend checking it out. And last from smaller publishers is one of my favorite ongoing series that I'm reading, which is finished digitally but not physically, and that is Tokyo Revengers volume 15 and 16. My jaw was dropping this volume. I could not read this fast enough, and then wanted to go back and reread the other volumes. I have thoroughly enjoyed this series. I know a lot of people don't like how it ends. I have no idea how it ends. Thank you so much for not sharing with me how it ends, but I am just so hooked on this. There's so many times I'm like, oh no, I was just in complete shock. I did not know what was going to happen next, and yet I just cannot wait. The next volume comes out, I believe, at the end of January. I hope it actually ships on time, as Crunchyroll does not seem to want to ship your pre-orders when you order them. So who knows what's going to happen. I'm on a long thread with them, going back and forth, asking them to ship volumes that they say, hey, it just came to our warehouse 2 days ago. And I said, if it came to your warehouse 2 days ago, help me understand why it's been available and in stock according to your website for over a month. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully that means I can continue. Sorry for that small rant, but I love and cannot wait to continue Tokyo Revengers. Now moving on to new to me from Viz Media. I just got one volume, and that is the lovely Neighborhood Story. This is the prequel to Paradise Kiss from the same author that gave us Nana. Now, I do have a small concern I want to share with you, is that the MSRP for this is $24.99. Of course, I did not pay anywhere close to MSRP, as I'm not someone who likes to pay MSRP for a manga knowing I can just order it online and get it for a cheaper discount. I do appreciate is we got these nice French flaps that they sent. And I gotta say they did a nice job, but I'll be honest with you, I thought this was gonna be hardcover. Because of being $25, it's almost like a Fist of the North Star volume, or I was thinking JoJo Bizarre Adventures. It's almost like that, but the JoJo Bizarre Adventures is also $24.99, and it's hardcover. So I was surprised that they're charging $24.99 for this series. I just feel like it's just too high an entry point. Why are you gonna not do hardcover, but instead be like, oh, let's just add some cool French flaps and charge more for it? I mean, just like JoJo Bizarre Adventures, there's some color in the beginning, and the paper seems very similar to like a JoJo's. It's probably even the same paper. So I'm very grateful they actually printed this series, as it's a series that probably would have maybe never made it to English. So maybe they had to charge a little more to make it worth it to them to give us this series in the first place. As I was just actually completely surprised they're willing to bring this in English to begin with. So I'm not exactly sure, but I was just a little surprised and taken back to get this volume and to know for $24.99 it wasn't a hardcover. But if you are looking for the prequel to Paradise Kiss and you love that series, as I know it's in a lot of people's top 20 of all time, this may be worth it for you. Let's go ahead and now move on to new to me from KODANSHA, as I got one series. 5 of them came from the same company that decided they couldn't ship it for a very long time, like with The Dark Gathering, and then 1 came from a pre-order from Right Step Anime that sadly is no more. I am very happy, as I've been wanting to read this for so long. When I did my top 10 of 2022 new series, this made Laura's top 10, and I was just very intrigued. I just hadn't get around to ordering it, and I wanted to read it right away, as her choices were spot on. Almost all of them that she ended up recommending I'm currently reading, I just absolutely love. She has great taste, and that is In the Clear, Moonlit Dusk. Now, I'm very, very happy for this Josei series to finally be able to pick up and read. I just need to find a good Saturday morning and just read through the series, and I even would like to do a little review to tell you what I think of the series. But I've seen just people on Twitter, on TikTok, just getting emotional about the power of this series and what it means. So because of that, I just had to read it for myself. I'm just so happy it just came all at once, the series. So hopefully soon I can go ahead and I can tell you more about what I think. Now, if you stuck to the end, I assure you it is worth it, as we're gonna go ahead and see what my Secret Santa picked up for me from this lovely Mangatuber gift exchange. And this is actually was from Tony. Now, if you checked out my last video, my top 10 of new releases from 2023, I actually did a collaboration with Tony. Ended up messaging her, just thanking her so much for her thoughtfulness. we were laughing and she shared with me, she ended up watching my entire video of my entire collection. She said she wrote down a bunch of titles and then she was crossing things off as she saw that I had it. So it was a bit of a challenge, but she was very, very kind to go through it. She first, I gotta say, I love it. She made this beautiful wrapping. She wrapped everything and she gave this lovely colored paper here. I was very excited. She gave me this figure, seeing that One Piece is my favorite series, so I thought that was just so thoughtful. This is now sitting on my desk as I edit videos. That was very, very kind of her. And then one thing I love about Tony, and you'll see this from that top 10 video, is she named series I had no idea existed. And after, I'm like, oh, I gotta check that out. So first she got me a one-shot. She's a very huge fan of one-shots, and this is not simple. I'm a big fan of one-shots myself. In fact, I want to do a video soon recommending different one-shot stories, so I was very, very happy that she sent this for me. And then she ended up sending me a first volume of a series that actually has been on my radar that I just have not gotten to. Daniel Pepper's raves about it, and that is A Silver Spoon. This is a slice of life series of following this city slicker as he now moves on to into the country and now on a farm. So heard wonderful things about the series. Thanks to Tony, I now want to go ahead and buy the whole series, but we will wait till there's a good deal. And we have some room as there's so many other series in the backlog, but I cannot wait for this. And then she gave me a series that I did not know much on, but has been on my radar to read. This is actually a French manga, so there wasn't as much, like my anime list isn't covering it. And that is Radiant. I've heard if you like One Piece, you will like Radiant. So I'm very excited to go ahead and start this series, which, like Silver Spoon, thanks to Tony, I want to go ahead and pick up the whole series. There's 19 volumes. They have not been affected by the Viz Media price increase, so I think kind of justified that I got to get it, but I will wait till there's a sale or a good price to pick up this series, as we have tons of other manga. But I'm very, very grateful. This is one that was on my radar. I was thinking about. I'm so excited. And then she gave me another series. I believe there's 6 volumes total, and this is Descending Stories. After she saw I love Akane Banashi, she said, oh, if you like Rakugo, here is another really good Rakugo series. And wow, I didn't know this one existed, and I was just very, very grateful. And like the other ones, I want to go and just pick up and just read the whole thing. So thank you, Tony, if you watch this at all. And for those who stuck to the end, I just thought it was so cool. In this community, there's so many other wonderful Mangatubers out there. Highly recommend expanding your horizon, and hopefully you're not just watching just me, but seeing what other people are recommending, as well as there is just so much manga out there. There's so many different tastes, unique perspectives, and I love a good story. If you've seen any of my videos, the purpose why we talk all things manga is that we are just looking for good stories and trying to give you a bit from a parent's perspective. So look at this. Even have a great holiday. She even wrote me a beautiful note. She gave some stars on the back of it, but I just thought that was very, very kind of Tony to send this to me. I had a wonderful time with that gifts exchange, and I hope to do it again next year. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much. And if there's one last thing that you could do, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That helps others know about this community that we have built together. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. I never thought we'd get past 1,000 subscribers. Who knows what the future looks like, but I could not be here if it was not for you. This is our community. This is just not me behind the camera. And the content I make, I want to make content that you want. So if there's anything that you would like to see or see me do differently, please let me know, as I've made changes even to the haul videos based off of your feedback. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one.